her and this little girl in the kitchen, and you were cooking together. Caroline knew zero Japanese at this point. Well, maybe like a tiny fraction. And this little girl didn't speak any English, and they cooked together and had this experience. And that just shows that connection and communication are not entirely language based. Welcome to Transforming the Toddler Years, the podcast for conscious parents, caregivers, and educators who believe tantrums aren't terrible. They are powerful opportunities for connection, growth, and learning during the first 5 years. You'll explore how to use intentional language to raise calm, confident, and deeply connected kids, because the way we talk to kids becomes how they see themselves and engage with the world. Hi, I'm your host, Cara Tyrrell, classroom teacher turned parent educator and teacher trainer. Are you ready to nurture your children's mind, body, and spirit? Welcome, Toddler Tribe. Let's transform the toddler years together. Welcome back, Toddler Tribe. I am so excited to share with you today the second part of our mini-series, Raising Healthy Adults from Birth, an interview with my adult daughter, Caroline. Now, if you haven't listened to part 1, I need you to hit pause on today and go back and listen to that first. It sets the stage for everything she's going to share with us about stepping into an uncomfortable space, taking risks, and those really insightful and defining moments that helped her transition from the foundation we laid with her as a toddler, as a teen, and moving into that chosen adult path. So go back and listen if you haven't, and enjoy the second part of Caroline's story today. So one of the things that was a challenge when you were growing up was getting outside that comfort zone. You felt very safe here in this house. You felt very safe here in this town. And you would tell us all the time, I'm never leaving.
I'm going to buy the house next door.
Right. I'm going to buy the house next door so that I can be close. I remember very vividly Camp Keewaydin, 6th grade year. Going for those overnights away with your class was a huge challenge. Yep. We had to do a lot of compromising in order for you to even feel safe enough to take the step to do it. How the heck did you go from someone who said, this is my entire world in Southern Vermont, to someone who now lives in Japan?
I think it was, even in high school, I was very against leaving, but there came like a Spain trip opportunity for 11th graders, and what they were saying sounded really fun. And I still was very stuck in my head about just wanting to stay comfortable. But then, I don't know what it was, but it was like something just clicked in me, where I was just thinking to myself, I think it was like working out or something one day, and just in my mind, I hear the words like, if you don't ever try, you'll never experience it. Or something like that. And then I think I came to you like the next day or something, and I told you about it, and I was just like, I think if I miss this opportunity, I'm going to be stuck. And I think it's going to be hard for me, but I think that maybe I should go. And a lot of the teachers were super supportive. They knew who I was, very nervous about it. So I think they helped me integrate really well, and they were really patient. And after that trip to Spain, I came back and I was slowly opening up more. I took 2 of my friends to Cape Cod and just drove myself. It was a great opportunity. And then from there, I think I felt ready to go on to the next step and go to Japan and visit. I initially went to visit my friends, but that's a whole different story.
Yeah, that is exactly how it happened. Now, from my perspective, what happened was, parents know things, right? We knew, Dad and I, that was an amazing opportunity for you. Yeah. And we knew that it would expand your mindset and your horizons. We didn't know to what degree, but we knew it would. And one of the hardest things for parents is to not just tell, right? Like we could have said to you, you're going on that trip, whether you want to or not. That is not part of my collaborative parenting methodology. I believe that when you're ready to make decisions, you make them, and that we slowly launch you towards that readiness space. Because the other thing that was true for you is you didn't, at that point in your life, you didn't really like when we were right.
No.
So when you came home and you were like, just randomly, I think it was at the dinner table actually, and it was super chill. And you were like, hey, I decided to go to Spain.
Yeah.
I had to like hide my joy.
Yeah.
Because it would have triggered you to be frustrated with me. So I was like, oh, that's cool. What made you choose that? But it's not easy for parents when we can see what the outcome would be and that our kids aren't ready to make that decision for themselves.
Yeah. But also, I've worked with so many kids in my life that also, I think that opened my eyes too. It's like watching children and seeing how they learn, and they learn through experience, and that doesn't really stop even when you're older. And now I've had the great opportunity to work with Japanese kids and just help them. And I'm tutoring some Japanese kids when I get back, and they're so sweet. But it's just like going those places, I think, helped me see that there's really no division in that. And that wherever you go, it's like humanity really is the same. Like children are still curious and they still want to learn, and it's still so much opportunity wherever I go to help kids, and that's what I love to do. So
I love that you have a heart for the littles, and in that way, she and I align, and it's such a joy to watch you understand. And sometimes when I try to explain this to people, it's hard for them if they don't experience it, but there's almost this invisible energy connection before there's even conversation with kids, and it just settles them.
And I think I've learned about that more being in Japan, because in the beginning of my stay, my first job was like tutoring, and a lot of the kids didn't know English that well, and I was still in the beginning of learning Japanese, and we just kind of had to feel each other. Like I had to be able to understand and like feel where they are, and like I could tell, and they knew I could tell, and so that's why they opened up. But it's been amazing to see how I can work with kids even with the language barrier. There's still that amazing connection, and I think that's really a gift that has been given to me. Was even from a young age, my Japanese friend, she didn't know much English, but I understood everything she was trying to say. And I think that's why going to Japan, I still have so many opportunities, because people can see that and feel that I still care about these children. I still love them, and I'm willing to wait until they're ready to.
I remember when I think you had almost just arrived at Famuka-san's, and one of the first woofing families that came through had a 2-year-old little girl.
Oh, yeah. I'm still friends with them, too.
You are? See, you make relationships that last very quickly because you show up as your authentic self. It's so powerful. But Caroline sent me this picture of her and this little girl. What's her name?
I would have to look at it.
Names are hard.
They're very similar. Oh, Saki. Saki-san.
Saki-san?
Saki-chan. Sorry, Chan.
I won't even try. That's her domain. But this picture of her and this little girl in the kitchen, and you were cooking together. Caroline knew 0 Japanese at this point. Well, maybe like a tiny fraction. And this little girl didn't speak any English, and they cooked together and had this experience. And that just shows that connection and communication are not entirely language based.
And I really made their mom is the sweetest person, and she helped me with my Japanese as well. And when I first met her, she was pregnant, but I haven't visited them lately. I want to, but when her other daughter was born, she invited me over to their house, and I got to meet the baby, and I have pictures with me holding her daughter, and she sends me little pictures occasionally of the kids. So it's really sweet.
The quality of relationships in life is all that really matters. And it's why here at the show and through all my coursework with you, I teach you the relationship you build with your children is far more important than any skills that you think are required to be successful in the schools or in the world. Relationship building helps you actually get through the challenges. So that's the priority. And, for me, that meant that I wanted to be as close physically to you and your sister during your childhood. And so it meant leaving the classroom for a while and being fully present.
Yeah. We also had 2 years apart, so you had your hands full.
Yep, I did. And you know what? That was exactly the right answer. I was capable, and I just know that each of you was chosen very specifically. You were made, biologically made, very specifically to match the skills that I had to help you overcome whatever challenges, whether they be physical or cognitive. So I want to go back to this idea of, compassion and empathy in all your relationships. I think you live out my mission statement so beautifully in that way. But there are 3 kids in this family. You are incredibly famous. You have an infamous even statement that I talk about all the time.
Which one?
Caroline used to say we have 3 kids, but only 2 sit at the dinner table.
Oh, yeah.
So when I wrote that mission statement in the year 2000, I was pregnant with Emma Grace, and she's our first daughter. She's our angel in heaven. I have multiple episodes that are specifically just about my parenting journey and how I arrived at parenting in an unexpected way. But if you don't know the story, she was a perfect little girl physically. She was an 8-pound, 5-ounce baby born one day past her due date. And in the 24 hours in between my 40-week check and her arrival, she got caught up in her umbilical cord and she passed away. So bringing a stillborn baby into the world, and that being the child who made me a mother, was a very complicated time for me. There was an intense period of grief, and then there was an even more complicated exploration for me of how could I bring more children into the world and allow them to be their unique selves and honor and respect them as they evolved without replacing and without comparing to who Emma was, because I didn't know those things. That was a big journey for me. But one of the major decisions that I made before we went on to have your sister Claire and then you was that you would know her. Was that in this family, you would know her spirit. You would know that she existed, and we would celebrate very intentionally during specific times of the year, so that all 3 of you had space in this family. And if you're watching on YouTube, that is a very hard picture to see, but it is our daughter, Emma Grace. What was it like being the baby of the family, raised up to know that you had an angel sister?
Well, I think I never saw myself as the baby because we were treated very equally. And I'm very glad for that, because me and Claire have no issue right now of like, normal people fight about the youngest gets everything, but
Yes.
we got what we had, that's it. But I remember, like, I think me and Claire took it very differently. But personally for me, I think I was very open to that idea and the fact, and it never really bothered me. I do feel like there was a lot of times where I was kind of dependent on her still, even though she was in heaven.
Mm.
And this sounds kind of weird, but me and Claire both kind of feel that way. We've talked about it, is that Emma she still has a place in our heart, and because we know she's in heaven, we understand that she did help us a lot. And one of the ways, I think, was her song.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Grandma who had the song? She found the song?
No, it was me.
Or did Grandma tell you about the song?
No. Oh, do you know the story of the song?
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
So Emma's song is I Hope You Dance by Liam Womack. And I was about 4 or 5 days postpartum, home, in bed. And I was having phantom cry experiences. So I would finally fall asleep, cry myself to sleep. And then I would wake up in the middle of the night hearing a crying baby, thinking that my baby was there and she needed feeding. And then it would hit me all over again. What happened? And this went on for a little bit. And then it was about 3 days before the funeral. Mm-hmm. And instead of waking up to a crying phantom cry, I woke up to a song in my head that I'd never heard before, but I heard every single word in my head. And I know that she was up there and she and God were having a moment and said, send it to her, send it to Mom. And so I looked it up. I found the song. I asked your papa, the musician, to go get the CD, and we played it at the funeral, and it became my focal point, my anthem. When I struggled, I would listen to that song. I
think we heard it like a lot as a kid, because you started the whole business of, what's it called?
Share Southern Vermont.
Share Southern Vermont. And that was to help mothers who had lost their baby in any way, shape, or form. But I remember, like, in high school, I was driving to school and I got lost in my car. And then her song came on the radio. And at that point, I'm, like, freaking out because I'm lost. And immediately it calmed me down. And, like, it was a reminder that she's here. Like, you have people here, even when you feel lost. But music I love music, and it's really, really touches my soul. So music is a big part of my life. And so I feel like that song always meant a lot to me. I'm not sure for Claire, but I feel like that song was a big part of me, like, understanding her. And there was also a time, I told you about this, I would write letters to Emma.
Yes.
I would write letters to her because I still didn't. It's a way for me to, like, feel connected to her, I guess. We're not talking about the grave story because that's already too much. And I was kind of jealous because everyone, like, when Claire was younger, she was able to talk to Emma. And I never had that. So I felt like, she's seen her. Mom and Dad have seen her. And I've never seen her or experienced her. And then I was praying that night, I think, and I was like, God, why do I never, like, I know she's there. I know she's with you, but, like, it's unfair. I've never seen her or, like, felt her the same way as other people have. And I know it's different for everybody. But I think it's that night I had a dream, like a really real dream. And I told you guys about it, where, like, she came to me in a dream, and, like, we had dinner together as a family in my bedroom, and, like, I didn't see her whole face, but I could see kind of her as an angel, like just a beam of light. Like she was so bright that like I couldn't see her face, but I could tell it was her and I could feel it was her. And like she was just talking to me like any other sister would. And I still remember that dream. And I think it'll stick with me forever because I know people can say dreams aren't real, but I believe that truly there's parts of that dreams that, yes, I probably made up because those are dreams, but her physically being there with me was not fake.
Wow.
And I remember telling you guys about that in the morning.
That feeds my mama heart. And you know how much I love having, like with you home from Japan briefly, right? All of us sitting around the table and having dinner together again. Oh, it just feels so good. So that vision that you are describing of a family of 5 doing that. And I'll be honest with you, if you were jealous of your sister, I was next in line jealous of both of you. As her mom, I felt like I had some right to know what color her hair was, to know what color her eyes were, to get those visions, to have I have never had that experience.
I mean, the only thing that I saw clearly was that she had black hair like you. I knew that for a fact. But definitely was quite an experience for sure. And there's the things that a lot of people can look at and say it's not real, but
your heart knows.
You know.
Yeah. Whew. That got deep. And to hear Caroline share her personal experience about a sisterly bond that just has no concept of time or space or age or physicality, that spiritual connection. Oh, that just made me so happy to hear. And I know there's so many of you out there that are lost moms and lost dads and lost grandparents. And I hope it fed your soul as well. So come on back next week as we wrap up this 3-part series. Caroline shares a little bit more about the experience of having a sister in heaven and then goes on to explore even more topics related to her childhood and how they connect to her healthy adulthood.